Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaranatam Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivashikam Vitam Scha Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnanachana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasma Shigurave Nama Gaurva Bhistam Sapurakam Gurganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shirupa Patanagam Govinda Bidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwagurun Shah Divyad Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pranam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavaranam Balarka Chelanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sareka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Bandetam Shivaram Mareka Sharanam Nyasishwara Sridharam Vanshakopatarubyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gorata Vishay Nama.
Bhakti Pavanjanari Maharaj Vijaya.
We're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, with translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Madhya-lila, chapter 11, the Beta Kirtan pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ati udandam tandavam gorachandra korvan bhaktai Sri Jagannath Gehe nana bhava lankritanga swadamna chakre vishwam prema vanya nimagnam. So this is verse number 1. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu merged the entire world into the ocean of ecstatic love by performing his beautiful dances within the temple of Jagannath. He danced exquisitely and jumped high. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaurabhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Sri Advaita Prabhu, and all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Aradin Sarvabhauma Kahe Prabhu Stane Avayadana Deho Jadi Kore Nivedane. The next day, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give him permission to submit a statement without fear. Prabhu kohe kahatumi nahi kechuvai jogya hoile koriva ajogya hoile noi. The Lord gave the Bhattacharya assurance that he could speak without fear, but added that if his statement were suitable, he would accept it, and if it were not, he would reject it. Sarvabhauma kahe Prataparudra Rai Udkanta Hayache Hitoma Milibare Chai. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, there is a king named Prataparudra Rai. He is very anxious to meet you, and he wants your permission. Karne Hasta Diya Prabhu Smare Narayan Sarvabhauma Kahakena Ajogya Vachan. As soon as Mahaprabhu heard this proposal, he immediately covered his ears with his hands and said, my dear Sarvabhauma, why are you requesting such an undesirable thing from me? Virakta sannyasi amar raja darshan stri darshana sama Vishara Bakan. Since I am in the renounced order, since I'm a virakta sannyasi, I'm in the renounced order, it is as dangerous for me to meet a king as to meet a woman. To meet either would be just like drinking poison. Niskinchanasya bhagavad bhajonmukasya. Niskinchanasya bhagavad bhajanon mukasya. Param param jigamishor bhava sangarasya. Sandarshanam vishainam ata yoshitam cha. Ahanta hanta visha bhakshanatopi asadu. Greatly lamenting, the Lord then informed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, alas for a person who is seriously desiring to cross the material ocean and engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord without material motives. Sing a materialist engaged in sense gratification, or sing a woman who is similarly interested, is more abominable than drinking poison willingly. Sarvabhauma kohe satya tomara bachan Jagannath sevaka raja kintu bhaktotam. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, my dear Lord, what you have said is correct, but this king is not an ordinary king. He is a great devotee and servant of Lord Jagannath. Prabhu ko he tatapi raja kala sarpakar kashta nari sparshi jaiche upaje vikar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, although it is correct that the king is a great devotee, he is still to be considered a venomous snake. Similarly, even though a woman be made of wood, one becomes agitated simply by seeing her form. Akararapi Bedavyam Strinam Vishainam api Yataher Manasa Shobhas Tatat Tasya Kriterapi. Just as one is immediately frightened upon seeing a live serpent or even the form of a serpent, one endeavoring for self-realization should similarly fear a materialistic person and a woman. Indeed, he should not even glance at their bodily features. Aiche bata punarapi mukena anibe kahajari tabe amai etana dekive. Bhattacharya, if you continue to speak like this, you will never see me here again. Therefore, you should never let such a request come from your mouth. Bhavapaya Sarvabhauma Nijagare Gela Vashaya Giya Bhattacharya Chintita Hoila. Being afraid, Sarvabhauma returned home and began to meditate on the matter. Henakale Prataparudra Purushottame Aila Patra Mitra Sange Raja Darshane Chalila. At this time, Maharaj Prataparudra arrived at Jagannath Puri, Purushottama, and accompanied by his secretaries, ministers, and military officers, went to visit the temple of Lord Jagannath. Ramananda Raya Aila Gajapati Sange Pratame Prabhure Ase Milila Bahurange. When King Prataparudra returned to Jagannath Puri, Ramananda Raya came with him. Ramananda Raya immediately went to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great pleasure. Raya Pranati Koila Prabhu Koila Alingan Duijane Primaveshe Korana Krandan. Upon meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Raya offered his obeisances. The Lord embraced him, and both of them began to cry in the great ecstasy of love. Raya Sange Prabhu Deki Sneho Vyavahar Sarva Bhakta Ganera Mane Hoila Chamatkar. Seeing Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intimate dealings with Sri Ramananda Raya, all the devotees there were astonished. Raya kohe tomaragya raja ke kohila Tomare Chaya Raja Mora Vishaya Chadaila. Ramananda Raya said, I duly informed King Prataparudra of your order for me to retire from service. By your grace, the king was pleased to relieve me of these material activities. Amiko he amahoite nahoy vishai Chaitanya Charitamrita rahon jari agyahoy. I said, Your Majesty, I am now not willing to engage in political activities. I desire only to stay at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kindly give me permission. Tomaranama Shuni Raja Anandita Hoila Asana Hoite Ute More Alingana Koila. When I submitted this proposal, the king immediately became very pleased upon hearing your name. Indeed, he instantly arose from his throne and embraced me. Tomaranama Shuni Hoila Mahab Primavesh Mora Hate Dore Kore Piriti Visesh. My dear Lord, as soon as the king heard your name, he was immediately overwhelmed by great ecstatic love. Catching my hand, he displayed all the symptoms of love. Tomara Jai Vartana Tumi Kao Se Vartan Nischinta Hayabhaja Chaitanya Charan. As soon as he heard my petition, he immediately granted me a pension without reductions. Thus the king granted me a full salary as a pension and requested me to engage without anxiety in the service of your lotus feet. Ame chara jogya nahi tara darshane tara je bhaje tara safala jivane. Then Maharaj Prataparudra very humbly said, I am most fallen and abominable, and I am unfit to receive darshan of the Lord. One's life is successful if one engages in his service. Parama Kripalu Teho Brajendra Nandan Konjanme More Avasha Dibena Darshan. The king then said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda. He is very merciful, and I hope that in a future birth he will allow me an interview, or to allow me to have his darshan in a future birth. Jaitahara Prema Arti Dekilun Tomate Tara Ek Prema Lesha Nahika Amate. My Lord, I don't think that there is even a fraction of Maharaj Prataparudra's loving ecstasy in me. Prabhu Kohe Tumi Krishna Bhakta Pradhan Tomake Je Priti Kore Se Bhagyavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, My dear Ramananda Raya, you are the foremost of all the devotees of Krishna. Therefore, whoever loves you is certainly a very fortunate person. Tomate je eta priti hoila rajar, egune Krishna tare koribe angikar. Because the king has shown so much love for you, Lord Krishna will certainly accept him. Jeme bhakta jana parta, name bhaktas chate janaha, mad bhaktanam chayi bhaktas, teme bhakta tuma mataha. Lord Krishna told Arjuna, those who are direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my servant are factually my devotees. So you can see the difference between the petition of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, which was not so tactful, it was just very direct. Oh, there's a king named Maharaj Prataparudra who wants to have your darshan. He's actually, even though the Mahaprabhu immediately reacted and said, for me to meet with a king would be terrible. It's the same. King is a materialist. Why I will meet with a king? If you continue to talk like this, I'll leave. But Ramananda Roy, he's a very diplomatic, and he tells Mahaprabhu how the king, when Ramananda Roy asked to leave his service, he gave him a full pension without any reductions and gave him permission and became very ecstatic just hearing the name of Mahaprabhu. And then, so Ramananda Roy, speaking in this way, creates a very favorable impression of the king for Mahaprabhu. Whereas Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, without any tact or anything, just says, oh, there's a king who's a good devotee, he wants to meet with you. So the whole difference in presentation. Okay, yeah. Adara paricharyayam sarvangar abhivandanam madbhakta puja bhyadika sarvabhuteshu manmati mad arte shvanga cheshtacha vachasa mad guneranam mayarpanam cha manasa sarvakama vivarjanam. My devotees take great care and respect in rendering me service. They offer obeisances to me with all their bodily limbs. They worship other devotees and find all living entities related to me. For me, they engage the entire energy of their bodies. They engage the power of speech in the glorification of my qualities and form. They also dedicate their minds unto me and try to give up all kinds of material desires. Thus my devotees are characterized. Aradhananam sarvesham vishnur aradhanam param tasmat parattaram devi tariyanam samarchanam. Lord Shiva told the goddess Durga, my dear Devi, although the Vedas recommend worship of demigods, the worship of Lord Vishnu is topmost. However, above the worship of Lord Vishnu is the rendering of service to Vaishnavas who are related to Lord Vishnu. Durapa e alpatapasa seva vaikunta vartmasu yatro pa giyate nityam deva devo janardana. Those whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees progressing on the path back to the kingdom of Godhead, the Vaikunthas. Pure devotees engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of all the demigods and the controller of all living entities. Puri Bharati Gosai Swarup Nityananda Jaganananda Mukundari Jata Bhakta Brinda Paramananda Puri Brahmananda Bharati Paramananda Puri Brahmanda Bharati Gosai Swarup Damodar Gosai, Lord Nityananda, Jaganananda, Mukunda, and others were present before the Lord at that time. Chari Gosara Koila Raja Charana Bandhan Jata Jogya Sabhaktera Korila Milan. Sri Ramananda Roy therefore offered his obeisances to all the Lord's devotees, in particular to the four spiritual masters. Thus Ramananda Roy suitably met all the devotees. The four spiritual masters referred to in this verse are Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, Swarup Damodar, and Lord Nityananda. Prabhu ko he raya dekile kamala nayan Raya Kohe Ebe Jai Pabadarshan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next asked Ramananda Raya, have you already visited the temple of the lotus-eyed Lord Jagannath? Ramananda Raya replied, I shall now go visit the temple. Prabhu Kohe Raya Tumi Ki Karya Korile Ishware Nadeki Kene Agi Eta Aile. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, what have you done, my dear Rai? Why did you not first see Lord Jagannath and then come here? Why have you come here first? Raya Kohe Charana Rata Ridoy Sarati Jahaloya Jai Tahan Jai Jivarati. Ramananda Raya said, the legs are like the chariot, and the heart is like the charioteer. Wherever the heart takes the living entity is obliged to go. Amiki Koriba Man Ihan Loya Aila Jagannatha Darshane Bichar Na Koila. Sri Ramananda Raya continued, what shall I do? My mind has brought me here. I could not consider going first to Lord Jagannath's temple. Ramananda Raya continued, what shall I do? My mind has brought me here. I could not consider going first to Lord Jagannath's temple. So Ramananda Raya said, he said, the legs are like the chariot, and the heart is like the driver. So you have to go where your heart takes you. You can't just, he said, I couldn't think of going first to the Jagannath temple without coming to see Mahaprabhu first. Prabhu Kohe Shigragiya Koradarshan Aichegara Jai Kora Kutumba Milan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, immediately go to Lord Jagannath's temple to see the Lord, then come home and meet your family members. Prabhu Agyabhaya Drai Chalila Darshane Rayara Prema Bhakti Riti Buje Konjane. Having received Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's permission, Ramananda Raya hastily went to the temple of Lord Jagannath. Who can understand the devotional service of Rai Ramananda? Ketre Ashi Raja Sarvabhauma Bolaila Sarvabhauma Namaskori Tahare Puchila. When King Prataparudra returned to Jagannath Puri, he called for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. When the Bhattacharya went to see the king offered him respects and made the following inquiries. Moralage Prabhu Pare Koile Nivedan Sarvabhauma Kohe Kon Aneka Jatan Moralage Prabhu Pare Koile Nivedan Sarvabhauma Kohe Kainu Aneka Jatan. The king asked, have you submitted my petition to the Lord? Sarvabhauma replied, yes, with great endeavor. I have tried my best. The king asked, have you submitted my petition to the Lord? Sarvabhauma replied, yes, with great endeavor. I have tried my best. Tatapina korete ho rajadarshan ketrachare jabena puna jare kore nibedan. Yet despite my great endeavor, the Lord would not agree to see a king. Indeed, he said that if he were asked again, he would quit Jagannath Puri and go elsewhere. Shunya Rajar Mane Duka Upajita Shunya Rajaram Mane Duka Upajila Vishada Korea Kichu Kohete Lagila. Hearing this, the king became very unhappy, and greatly lamenting, began to speak as follows. Papinicha udarite dhara avatar jagai madai taha korila udar. The king said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended just to deliver all kinds of sinful, low-born persons. Consequently, has delivered sinners like Jagai and Madai. Prataparudra chade koribe jagat nishtar e pratigya korijachan avatar. Alas, has Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu incarnated to deliver all kinds of sinners with the exception of a king named Maharaj Prataparudra. Udarshaniyan api nijajatin samvikshate hanta tatapino mam mad eka varjam kripa yishyatiti nirniya kim so vatatara deva. Adarshaniyan api nijajatin samvikshate hanta tatapina mam mad eka varjam kripayishyatiti nirniya kim va vatalatara deva. Alas, has Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made his advent, deciding that he will deliver all others with the exception of me. He bestows his merciful glance upon many lower class men who are usually not even to be seen. Tara pratigya more na koribe darshan mora pratigya taha vina charibam jivan. Maharaj Prataparudra continued, if Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is determined not to see me, then I am determined to give up my life if I do not see him. Jadi se Mahaprabhu se pai kripadan kiba raja kiba deho saba akarshan. If I do not receive Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, my body and my kingdom are certainly useless. Etashuni Sarvabhauma Hoila Chintita Rajara Anuraga Deki Koila Vishmita. Hearing King Prataparudra's determination, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became thoughtful. Indeed, he was very much established in devotional service. Hearing King Prataparudra's determination, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became thoughtful. Indeed, he was very much astonished to see the king's determination. Okay. Bhattacharya kohe deva nakora vishad tomare prabhura avasha hoive prasad. Finally, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, my dear king, do not worry. Because of your firm determination, I'm sure that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy will definitely be bestowed upon you. Teho Premadina Tomar Prema Gadatar Avasya Koribena Kripa Tomara Upar. As soon as the Bhattacharya saw the king's firm determination, he declared, the Supreme Lord is approached only by pure love. Your love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very deep. Therefore, without a doubt, he will be merciful upon you. Tatapi kohiyayami ek upajai. Tatapi kohiyayami ek upai. E upaya kora prabhu dekibe jahai. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then suggested, there is one means by which you can directly see him. Rathayatra dine prabhu Sabbaktaloya Rata Age Nritya Koribena Prema Vishta Hoya. On the day of the car festival, on the day of the Rathayatra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will dance before the deity in great ecstatic love. Premaveshe Pushpojane Koribena Pravesh Sekali Ekale Tumi Chari Rajavesh. On that Rathayatra festival day, after dancing before the Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will enter the Gundicha garden. At that time, you should go there alone without your royal dress. Don't wear your royal dress and go to the garden alone where Mahaprabhu, after the Rathayatra, he'll go into the garden and you should be there, but not dressed as the king. Krishna Rasa Panchadhyaya Korite Patan Ekale Jai Mahaprabhu Daribe Charan. When Mahaprabhu enters the Gundicha garden, you should go there and read the 5 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam about Lord Krishna's dancing with the gopis. In this way, you can catch hold of the Lord's lotus feet. Very good plan. Bhayagyana nahi se kali Krishnam namashuni alingana koribena tomai Vaishnava jani. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be in a mood of ecstatic love without external consciousness. At that time, as you recite those chapters from Srimad Bhagavatam, he will embrace you, knowing you to be a pure Vaishnava. Ramananda Raya Aje Tomara Prema Gun Prabhu Age Kohite Prabhur Firige Laman. The Lord has already changed his mind due to Ramananda Roy's description of your pure love for him. Shuni Gajapatir Mane Sukopajila Prabhure Milite E Mantrana Drida Koila. Maharaj Prataparudra took the Bhattacharya's advice and firmly decided to follow his instructions. Thus he felt transcendental happiness. Snanayatra kabe habe puchila batere batakohe tindin upaye jatrare. When the king asked the Bhattacharya when the bathing ceremony, Snanyatra of Lord Jagannath, would take place, the Bhattacharya replied that there were only 3 days left before the ceremony. Rajare Prabodhya Bhattagela Nijaloy Snanayatra Dine Prabhur Ananda Redoy. After thus encouraging the king, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya returned home. On the day of Lord Jagannath's bathing ceremony, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy at heart. Snanayatra Deki Prabhur Hoila Borasuk Ishvarer Anavasare Paila Boraduk. Upon seeing the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy. But when Lord Jagannath retired after the ceremony, Lord Chaitanya became very unhappy because he could not see him. So after the Snan Yatra, everyone gets darshan of the Lord during the Snan Yatra, but then they're going to prepare the deity of Lord Jagannath for the Rathayatra, but for some days no one can have darshan of him because they're preparing the deity and sometimes repainting the deity and everything. So when Maharaj Prataparudra, when Mahaprabhu saw the Snan Yatra, then he was very happy. But after that, Lord Jagannath, you cannot get darshan because he's being, as Govindamar said, nourished or refurbished. And the king, then Mahaprabhu was unhappy. Gopi Babe, and for some days this happened. So then Mahaprabhu would leave Jagannath Puri for a few days, go to Alalanath or like that, during the time of the when Lord Jagannath wasn't visible. Gopi Babi Virahe Prabhu Vyakulahaya Alalanate Gela Prabhu Sabare Chariya. Due to separation from Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt the great anxiety the gopis feel in separation from Krishna. In this condition, he gave up all association and went to Alalanath, some miles from Jagannath Puri, where he would remain until a few, I think it's a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks or so, that Lord Jagannath comes back. Pache Prabhura Nikata Aila Bhaktagan Goda Hoite Bhakta Aishe Koila Nivedan. The devotees who had followed the Lord came into his presence and requested him to return to Puri. They submitted that the devotees from Bengal were coming to Purushottam, etc. So the devotees are arriving from Bengal, so the devotees in Puri are asking Mahaprabhu to return to meet with the devotees. Sarvabhauma Nilachale Aila Prabhu Loya Prabhu Aila Rajatai Kohilena Giya. In this way, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya brought Lord Chaitanya back to Jagannath Puri. He then went to King Prataparudra and informed him of the Lord's arrival. Henakali Aila Tata Gopinath Acharya Rajake Ashirvad Kori Kohe Shuna Bhattacharya. At this time, Gopinath Acharya came there while Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was with King Prataparudra. Being a Brahmin, he offered his benediction to the king and addressed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya as follows. Goda Hoite Vaishnava Asitechan Duishat Mahaprabhu Bhaktasab Mahabhagavat. About 200 devotees are coming from Bengal. All of them are greatly advanced and specifically devoted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Narendre Asiya Sabe Hoila Vidyaman Tasavare Chahi Vasa Prashada Samaran. All of them have already arrived on the bank of Lake Narendra and are waiting there. I desire residential quarters and prasadam arrangements for them. Gopinath Acharya is asking for places to house all the devotees that have come for Rathayatra from Bengal. Rajakohe Pariyache Rajakohe Parichake Ami Agya Diva Vasa Ari Jay Chohiye Paricha Sabdiba. The king replied, I shall give orders to the attendant in the temple. He will arrange for everyone's residential quarters and prasadam as you desire. Mahaprabhu Argana Jata Ailagoda Hoite Bhattacharya Eke Dekaha Amate Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Please show me one after another all of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees who are coming from Bengal. Bhadakohe Atalikaya Kora Arohan Gopinath Shine Sabare Karabe Darshan. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested the king, go up on the roof of the palace. Gopinath Acharya knows every one of the devotees. He will identify them for you. Ami kahonahi chini te mana hoy Gopinath Acharya sabare karabe parichai. Actually, I do not know any of them, although I have a desire to know them. Since Gopinath Acharya knows them all, he will give you their names. Etabole tina jana atalikaya chadi Chadila Kinakale Vaishnava Sab Nikate Aila. After Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said this, he went up to the top of the palace with the king and Gopinath Acharya. At that time, all the Vaishnava devotees from Bengal drew closer to the palace. So tomorrow I'll continue from this point. All the devotees are arriving from Bengal, and Gopinath Acharya will inform the king and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya who all the devotees are. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shimarusudan Gopal Govinda Ram Shimarusudan Shri Radhe Gopinatha Maranamon Hare Gopinatha Maranamon Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Garadhara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Garadhara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jarupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Jarupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Srijiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raghunath Srijiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raghunath Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jaite Vignana Shabista Puran Jaite Vignana Shabista Puran Echai Gosai Jarmui Taradas Echai Gosai Jarmui Taradas Dasavar Pada Renu Mora Panchagas Dasavar Pada Renu Mora Panchagas Kare Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Kare Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Abhilas Janame Janame More Abhilas Echai Gosai Jabe Bhaje Koilabas Echai Gosai Jabe Bhaje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naradamodas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naradamodas Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhariju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charya Tara Sarashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charya Tara Sarashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Nirmamacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charya Tara Sarashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charya Tara Sarashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsiko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavad Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Vishvaparenya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Kushamashra Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ramayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladvip Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Sokel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Amunaju Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Sri Bhakti Pavan